Jaron, he in one place, I'm in another.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I'm looking for mega fights right now. And right now, that's not a mega fight. So, you know what I mean? That's my standpoint on it. I'm looking to fight guys like Canelo. You know, that's pretty much it, man. And the rematch with Spence. And that's it. That's over with.
Terence Crawford has responded to Jaron Ennis calling him out for a fight. Meanwhile, Eddie Hearn has said that Crawford versus Ennis is the best fight that can be made in boxing today. Hearn stated that Crawford versus Boots is unequivocally the best fight in boxing. He expressed a desire to see Boots unify at 147 pounds before moving up to 154 pounds, noting that the move to a higher weight class is inevitable.
Crawford against Boots is the best fight in boxing. I mean, unquestionable. But before Boots goes to 54, I would really like to see him unify at 147, and that will be a tough job for us, but one that you'll see tomorrow night we can deliver with a crowd like this.
Earlier this year, the British promoter inked a deal with Ennis, and now they're set to debut their first joint fight this Saturday night. Having lost the match he truly wanted, Boots will defend his IBF welterweight world title against David Avanesyan. In his most recent bout a year ago, Crawford clinched victory over Errol Spence, thereby ascending to the position of the unified welterweight world champion, holding titles from the WBA, WBC, IBF, and WBO. Ennis was required for a crack at the title fight because he was the IBF interim belt holder at the time. Crawford displayed no inclination to take on the highly skilled unbeaten American challenger, which ultimately led to him being stripped of the championship belt. Ennis was consequently elevated and assumed the title of IBF champion by default. Crawford has opted to step into a higher weight class, set to face Uzbekistan's reigning WBA super welterweight champion Israil Madrimov in a showdown scheduled for August 3rd. Hearn, who also promotes Madrimov, told reporters that he likes Madrimov's chances against Crawford. However, he acknowledged that Crawford is clearly the heavy favorite in such a matchup.
You know, I think that I really like Madrimov's chances against Crawford, but Crawford is obviously a big favourite. Crawford against...
The promoter then mentioned that they want to schedule the fight when Boots has accomplished everything possible at 147 pounds. Hearn admitted being surprised by Boots' ability to make 147 pounds, noting that at the weigh-in on Friday, he was 146 pounds. He also mentioned that Boots' father and trainer, Bozy Ennis, commented that he believes Boots could potentially make 140 pounds.
At the same time, you want to do it when he's achieved everything that he can achieve at 147. I've got to be honest, like, being around him and seeing the size of him, I was quite surprised that he makes 147 like he does. Like the weigh-in this morning, he was 146, and Bozy was like, you know, I actually think he could make 140. I'm like, and he didn't.
Hearn added that Boots appeared hydrated and his face showed no signs of dehydration. He mentioned that Boots believes he can eventually move up to 168 pounds, indicating that he will likely transition to 154 pounds and then 160 pounds in the future. However, Hearn emphasized the importance of clearing up the division before making such moves. He stated that while Boots has won a world championship, it would be a shame if he didn't unify the titles given his talent.
He looked dry, his face wasn't drawn in the slightest. And that was, you know, when I look at him, he believes he can go up to 168 eventually. So I think you're going to see someone like Jaron Ennis definitely move to 54, definitely move to 60 over time. But I don't like to make the move without clearing up the division. Like, he's won a world championship, but it'd just be a shame if he didn't unify someone of his ability.
Many people want to see Terence Crawford and Jaron Ennis square off, and one trainer has supported the fighter from Nebraska. Crawford has his sights on stepping up to super welterweight for a clash with Israil Madrimov on August 3rd. Meanwhile, Andre Rozier, trainer to Danny Jacobs, has been vocal about a potential Crawford versus Ennis matchup. The fighter from Philadelphia is scheduled to make his home city debut later this year after joining Eddie Hearn's matchroom. Ennis's ultimate goal is to face Crawford, but Rozier believes the three-weight world champion would be too strong for Ennis. Rozier said, "I got Terence Crawford at 154 now. Boots is the only one I can see, but I'm with TC all the way. I'm with Terence Crawford all the way." Moreover, Turki Alashik of the Saudi royal court stands poised to clinch the organization of the much-anticipated Terence Crawford versus Jaron Boots Ennis bout. While boxing enthusiasts have eagerly awaited this showdown, several details remain to be finalized. In the coming months, His Excellency is bracing for significant hurdles as Crawford prepares to square off against Israil Madrimov this summer. The anticipated bout is slated to take place in Los Angeles, California during the first weekend of August. Terence, already a welterweight champion, will bulk up by an additional 7 pounds to compete against Madrimov in the super welterweight division, transitioning from 147 to 154 pounds. In the event of this matchup, and should Crawford uphold his flawless record, the path seems destined for a showdown with Boots, despite his historical reluctance to take on Ennis. Yet, with Crawford's next fight in August, the prospect of him delaying his return to the ring until 2025 looms large. Turki Alalshik is eyeing another potential matchup, this time involving Saul Canelo Alvarez. Canelo might soon square off against Terence Crawford. Alvarez has his sights set on a 2024 showdown, potentially delaying a clash with Crawford this year. Nonetheless, with a limited pool of contenders, His Excellency aims to leverage the Mexican boxer's success early next year. Following this summer, more information about Crawford's next two opponents will become available.
What about Boots? Boots is the mandatory. He's calling you out now.
Right now in my career, a lot of people like boost this, boost that, boost this. You know, fighting Boots is a lose-lose situation. I win, they're gonna say, oh, well, he was young, he wasn't ready. You got the experience over him. You got so much more than this kid that never been tested before.
As Jaron Boots Ennis is set to headline a hometown showdown in Philadelphia this Saturday, his promoter claims he has outpaced even boxing legend Mike Tyson in ticket sales for a Philadelphia fight. He has surpassed Tyson's record set during his 1995 bout against Buster Mathis Jr. With tickets already flying off the shelves, projections suggest the Ennis versus Avanesyan clash could draw between 13,000 to 14,000 fans, potentially even more. Surpassing Tyson's milestone of filling 10,000 seats in Philly marks a remarkable achievement. Yet, the IBF welterweight champion remains unfazed by this feat, directing his full attention to the upcoming bout. While pleased by the record-breaking turnout, his primary focus lies squarely on securing victory in the imminent fight, prioritizing performance over the impressive ticket sales garnered by the event. The fighter from Philadelphia had originally lined up against Cody Crowley, who later withdrew, leading to David Avanesyan stepping in as his replacement. Despite the switch in opponents, ticket sales for the match exceeded Tyson's previous record. Following that, ahead of his fight on the upcoming Saturday, Ennis was asked how he felt about Eddie Hearn's statement that he outsold Mike Tyson. Ennis responded calmly with an innocuous smile, saying he didn't really feel any different. He remarked that to him, it was just another day like any other, emphasizing that it felt normal to him.
He recently just said that you outsold Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
What does that feel like?
I don't know. it felt normal. I don't know. Like, it's just another day for me. It really another day for me. You know.
The undefeated boxer with a record of 31-0 further commented that he was excited and felt blessed to be at the Wells Fargo Center for the event. He clarified that all he was happy about was that supporters and ticket buyers from his hometown were there.
Yeah, I'm excited, man, and I'm blessed to be able to, be here fighting at the Wells Fargo Center. I'm glad that everybody buying tickets, even if it's late. I'm glad you're buying tickets, supporting, and don't miss, this big show on Saturday, this big knockout.
Boots has emerged as a formidable contender, showcasing immense promise in the ring. Recognizing his potential, Eddie Hearn's Matchroom Boxing secured his signing earlier this year. Hearn hailed Ennis's addition as among his most significant signings yet, underscoring the boxer's standout talent. Despite the attention he is receiving, Ennis is focused on his goal of becoming the next unchallenged welterweight champion. In the same interview, he expressed that he currently holds one belt and emphasized his goal to collect the remaining belts at 47 pounds before moving up to do the same at 54 pounds. However, his promoter is making the even bolder promise that he may fight one of the world's top boxers.
This is my main goal right now. I got one belt, so I'm going to like I said, collect the rest of these belts and be undisputed at 47, and do it at 54. So that's my goal. So 47 right now is my main goal. Collect these belts, be undisputed.
Fans have eagerly awaited a showdown between Terence Crawford and Ennis. Bud has triumphed over all challengers at 147 pounds and now sets his sights on Canelo Alvarez at 168 pounds. Meanwhile, Ennis's promoter Eddie Hearn advocates for a Crawford bout, seeing it as a pathway for Boots to capitalize on his former undisputed welterweight champion status despite moving up in weight. The British promoter stated, "We've got to get him in the fights. We've got to get him undisputed at 147. He can move up. I want to see him fight Terence Crawford. That's a fight that's been talked about, and Terence will only take that fight if it's big enough. I'll back Jaron Boots Ennis against anybody. And what a joy to be guiding this man's career." Jaron Ennis's challenger, David Avanesyan, boasts a record of 30 wins, 4 losses, and 1 draw, with 18 victories coming by knockout. Having once held the IBF interim title, Ennis ascended to full champion status after former undisputed 147-pound champion Terence Buds Crawford decided to step up up in weight to pursue world titles in his 4th weight division. Ennis didn't want to receive the title in this manner, but he was unable to stop it. Right now, he's just happy to be defending the title. "I can't wait! It's a blessing to be able to fight here, and I'm ready to put on a show and look good doing it," said Ennis, who is having his first fight back in Philly in almost 6 years. He added, "Beat him up, break him down, get the stoppage, and have my fun. I feel that I am going to thrive here and put on a beautiful show. I'm fighting at home, I'm comfortable, I'm on the couch with my feet up, so it's going to be a great show." Avanesyan, a 35-year-old Armenian originally from Russia, wasn't the initial pick for the bout. Originally, Ennis was set to fight Cody the Crippler Crowley, but the Canadian southpaw had to withdraw due to failing a pre-fight eye exam. "The opponent switch doesn't really mean anything to me. We have southpaws and orthodox in camp, pressure fighters, boxers. We do everything," Ennis said. Avanesyan finds himself at a crucial juncture, facing perhaps his final chance to claim a world title. His prior attempts have been close but unsuccessful. In 2017, Lamont Peterson narrowly outpointed him for the WBA welterweight championship, and more recently, Crawford halted his ambitions with a 6th-round stoppage in defense of the WBO 147-pound belt in December 2022. Ennis said, "We're standing on business. I'm not going to go in there looking for the stoppage, but I'm going to have my fun, put on a show, but I'll let the knockout come to me. It's going to be turned up in here. Fireworks. It's going to be lit up, and I'm excited. You are going to see a beautiful show, and I'm going to show the world and the 147-pound division that I am the best." Avanesyan will be looking to surpass Ennis in this match. David Avanesyan expressed that he believed he was given a chance by God to be where he is. He acknowledged Ennis as a good fighter and expressed happiness in facing such opponents, stating that he only wants to fight good fighters. Avanesyan noted his past fights, including against Crawford, as history, emphasizing that those knowledgeable about boxing recognize him. He highlighted the upcoming fight as another significant opportunity, vowing to give his all. Notably, Boots now holds Crawford's crown, following the IBF's decision to strip Bud in November for failing to meet Ennis in a mandatory defense. This move elevated Ennis from interim champion to full title status within the sanctioning body. Ennis told Boxing Scene, "I'm excited to get in the ring and put on a beautiful show, have fun, look good, pick apart Avanesyan, break him down and beat him up for the knockout to get the ball rolling. Saturday night is going to be a statement. I'm putting 147 pounds on notice." Ennis is poised for a notable comeback, stepping back into the ring after nearly a year since his last bout in July, where he delivered a decisive knockout against the formidable Royman Villa after 10 rounds. The 8-year career of Ennis has seen the longest hiatus, lasting a full year. Ennis found himself on the sidelines, endeavoring to revive his career. His legal battle against Now Boxing, formerly overseen by the late Cameron Duncan until his recent passing, began in February with a lawsuit demanding contract release and $1 million judgment. By March, a settlement was brokered, the lawsuit dismissed definitively, paving the way for Ennis to ink a fresh agreement with Matchroom by April. Ennis revealed, "I want what is best for my career. I like how Eddie Hearn moves his fighters. I like the things he does and the way he treats his guys. I just went that way. I like how Eddie does the talking for me. I'm glad I got Eddie behind me. That makes a perfect pair." Ennis, renowned for his brevity of speech, compensates with the relentless power of his punches. Esteemed as one of boxing's most versatile and exceptional fighters, this switch hitter is frequently likened to a modern incarnation of the 3-division champion Crawford. Ennis, though, finds himself with a bitter aftertaste upon inheriting Crawford's title without a fight. When Crawford was mandated to face Ennis, his sights were set on a rematch with Errol Spence Jr. But now both fighters have charted separate paths in their career. According to Ennis, "It is what it is. It was out of my control. I definitely didn't want to win the belt that way. I'd rather beat the man than be handed his belt. There is nothing I could do about it. I would hope to fight Crawford by 2025. He's at 154 trying to get belts, and my main goal is to be an undisputed champion at 147, but in the future, yeah. I want to fight the best guys and top guys, but you see how those things went." Ennis never had the opportunity to face the elite names like Crawford, Spence, Manny Pacquiao, Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, Yordenis Ugas, and others on his rise to the top. Now he finds himself matched against Avanesyan, a solid contender known for his decisive defeat by Crawford in 2022 and for handing Josh Kelly his first career loss in 2021. Avanesyan's resume includes a victory over the legendary but past his prime Sugar Shane Mosley back in 2016. Avanesyan vows to destroy Ennis. Ennis remains unfazed by Avanesyan. With a $3.9 million purse bid, Matchroom secured the rights to the Ennis-Crowley bout. According to IBF regulations, Ennis was expected to receive 85% of the winnings. Ennis said, "I've been preparing the same way I do for everything else, just by staying in the gym, focused and level-headed. I'm not overthinking things and letting everything just fall into place. I'm taking my time with the hard work, that's all. Moreover, Ennis commented that he considers David a better opponent, but Cody is tougher. He noted that Avanesyan excels at applying pressure in his style, similar to his previous opponent Villa, but on a smaller scale. Ennis expressed confidence in facing Avanesyan, mentioning that he doesn't worry about others and is focused on putting on a show for his fans and supporters. He emphasized his commitment to being himself in the ring and feeling comfortable fighting at home, stating that everything has been going smoothly without pressure. Ennis wants to one day win 4 divisions and be the unchallenged champion at 147, 154, 160, and 168 pounds. Among the welterweight contenders holding versions of Crawford's titles are PBC-affiliated Eimantas Stanionis and Mario Barrios, alongside top-ranked promoted Brian Norman. Ennis is focused on a possible star-making opportunity against a great who is looking to come out of retirement for the right fight, even as he maintains that no one is calling him out. He said, "Nothing has come across my table yet for Manny Pacquiao, and if it does, I will gladly take it. But most definitely those fights against Stanionis, Barrios, and Norman are going to happen. You have to stay tuned." Trainer Stephen Edwards believes that Jaron Ennis is not up to the fight at 147. Edwards observes a shift where notable fighters who once dominated welterweight, names like Terence Crawford, Errol Spence, and Virgil Ortiz, have now ascended to the 154-pound division. Among the current elite welterweights, Eimantas Stanionis and Mario Barrios are seen as significant underdogs with odds of 4, one against Boots, who boasts an impressive record of 31-0 with 28 knockouts. He's heralded as the Alexander the Great of the 147-pound division, having seemingly conquered all in his path. Ennis finds himself at a crossroads. To secure the coveted big fights that have eluded him at welterweight, he must consider moving up to 154 pounds. Yet both he and his promoter, Eddie Hearn, appear hesitant to make this leap despite their bold rhetoric, revealing a surprising lack of ambition on both fronts. Edwards said, "There's nobody at 147 where people can look at and go, that guy can beat him. They're not." Errol and Bud moved up. Virgil Ortiz moved up. There's nobody at 147 that would be less than a 4. One underdog against Boots. Ennis stands out as the clear favorite when facing Barrios, Stanionis, and Brian Norman Jr. Among them, Norman poses the most challenge to Ennis, owing to his powerful punching ability, durability, and youthful vigor. Edwards added, "Even if he fought Mario Barrios or Stanionis, Stanionis would be the closest one. Any of those guys would be a 4, one or more against him. That's how dominant the eyeball test and the Vegas odds makers look at him. Stanionis wouldn't pose a challenge to Boots. It'd likely end as a one-sided beatdown, with Ennis dominating until he secures the stoppage. Fans doubt any of those champions would risk facing Ennis unless they were offered a truly life-changing sum. Tell me a guy that they can look at him. Oh, he can beat him. There's not one. Is it going to be like Bud beating Errol? Heck no," said Edwards, when asked if Boots Ennis would receive credit for beating Avanesyan. Edwards makes a solid point. There's simply no welterweight contender capable of challenging Boots. That's precisely why he should consider stepping up to the 154-pound division to take on the top dogs. If Boots aims to compete in Saudi Arabia and earn substantial rewards, moving up to 154 pounds seems like the logical next step. However, Jaron Ennis previously refuted claims that he was approached for 2 welterweight bouts against Terence Crawford in the past, but Boots asserts he'd eagerly accept a showdown with Crawford if the opportunity arose. Ennis recounts how, upon being presented with the opportunity to fight Crawford, he swiftly agreed, only to hear nothing more about it thereafter. Opting not to face Ennis, Crawford, a native of Nebraska, instead squared off against David Avanesyan in December 2022 in his own hometown of Omaha. Boots found himself perplexed by the situation, yet the message seemed unequivocal. Crawford refused to engage with the rising star, a terror in the 147-pound division, appearing unbeatable. Facing Boots at Crawford's current stage could spell disaster for his career prospects, particularly with a potential mega payday against Canelo Alvarez looming on the horizon for early 2025.
Exactly. Nobody. What 2 opportunities that I had to fight him?
Yeah.
When he fought he was supposed
Avanesyan.
He's for Avanesyan too,
Yeah.
but I think he was supposed to. He was in the middle of doing something with Errol at the time.
Yes.
And at that time, we all thought he was fighting Errol.
Yeah.
So we all waiting, everybody waiting around. The whole welterweight division was waiting around to see what he was going to do. And he popped up out of nowhere fighting David Avanesyan in December or something like that. People don't realize I didn't get the opportunity to fight for the IBF interim until after he made his decision. We was waiting. We was waiting to see what he was going to do.
Ennis explained that he had 2 opportunities to fight Crawford, but Crawford chose Avanesyan instead of him. He emphasized that he would take any opportunity presented to him, questioning why he wouldn't. Ennis mentioned that when Crawford eventually asked if they wanted to fight, they agreed, but then heard nothing further about it. He expressed his eagerness to face Crawford, highlighting it as a fight everyone wants to see and something he personally desires.
They said I seen somebody was saying that I went a different route or something like that.
Yeah.
I only went that route because he chose Avanesyan. He could have clearly picked me.
Yeah.
I think Ortiz was one. It was me, and then I think it might have been Avanesyan, or Avanesyan might have been 4 or 5 or something like that.
It was like 5. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, that's who he chose. So you can't blame me.
Right.
I get a call. Of course I'm gonna take it.
Yeah.
Why would I not take it?
Crawford defeated Spence in July of last year, so it goes without saying that he wouldn't have departed the welterweight class quickly if he had wanted to meet Boots Ennis. Before going up to junior middleweight, Crawford would have made it a point to defend his 4 belts against Boots Ennis, and you can see why he didn't. Crawford finds himself in a tough battle, with Tim Bradley highlighting significant concerns. It's clear Crawford has reason to feel uneasy. A colossal payday awaits him if he can overcome Israel Madrimov, the reigning WBA junior middleweight champion, on August 3rd. Victory in this bout would secure his shot at facing Alvarez next year. According to boxing commentator Tim Bradley, Terence Crawford should take on Jaron Ennis to prove to the supporters that he is not intimidated by the teenage sensation. He said, "You got Boots. That's a good fight. I think it's a winnable fight. It takes care of a lot of the banter of, you haven't faced anybody, that Crawford faces on a day-to-day basis." Crawford versus Ennis is a winnable bout for either fighter. Terence has spent a year out of the ring, celebrating his victory over Errol Spence Jr. in July last year, and he's now a bit older. Boots is younger and physically stronger than Crawford. A match against him would likely see Crawford endure more punishment than ever before, and he may not be prepared for it. Bradley said, "Fight Boots, the guy that's up and coming, the guy that everybody believes is the next coming of you, Crawford. You beat him and you add more to your legacy. I think Crawford should eventually, if he's going to stay in the game any longer, he needs to visit Boots." If Crawford hadn't been offered the Canelo fight, he likely would have still avoided Boots and moved up to 154, a safer move for an aging fighter. As you get older, facing a young lion like Boots could risk wrecking your PPV prospects, especially after just reaching that level with Spence's support. According to Bradley, Boots hasn't had the opportunity to show his greatness because no one has given him that opportunity. That's not his fault, and nobody wants to fight him because they know he's that good, including Crawford. Crawford, like many other fighters, is avoiding a showdown with Boots Ennis, acknowledging his formidable skills. He's shifted to the 154-pound weight class, aiming to leverage Madrimov as a stepping stone. However, even this plan might not pan out, as he may have been left with little choice: face Madrimov or miss out on the opportunity to fight Canelo altogether. Bradley said, "Boots is calling you. Boots is saying, I want that whooping. Please give it to me. Let's make it happen." Crawford has yet to do anything about it. He's like, nonchalant. I got bigger fish to fry. I get it because Crawford is at the end of his career, but that would be a damn good fight. Make sure to check out some of our other videos on the screen if you enjoyed this one.